The first time Lieutenant Commander Elena Vasquez stepped onto the flight deck of Naval Station Norfolk, every head turned, not in salute, but in suspicion. She was 29, 5'3" in boots, hair twisted into a regulation bun so tight it looked like it hurt, and she carried a single C bag slung over one shoulder like a tourist who'd taken a wrong turn at the beach. The deck apes smirked. The pilots in the ready room whispered. The chief petty officers exchanged glances that said, "Who let the intern on the carrier?" None of them noticed the 4 stars stitched inside the lining of her bag, or the quiet way she scanned the horizon, cataloging every aircraft, every face, every possible threat. They saw the new girl. They didn't see the admiral. The USS Abraham Lincoln steamed 200 miles off the Virginia Capes, running full-spectrum war games. Elena had been ordered to observe, evaluate, and report directly to the Pentagon. Officially, she was a civilian augmentation specialist. Unofficially, she was the youngest flag officer in the Navy, hidden in plain sight to root out the rot that had been eating the fleet from the inside. Someone was selling classified drone schematics to a private military contractor with ties to Beijing. Someone was staging accidents to cover embezzlement. Someone was about to learn that the new girl didn't just take notes, she took names. Her first morning in the wardroom, Captain Harlan Bulldog Maddox held court at the head of the table. He was old school Annapolis 98, built like a linebacker who'd never stopped hitting the weight room. He didn't stand when she entered. "Vasquez, right?" he said, not looking up from his eggs. "Heard you're here to streamline logistics. Cute. Try not to get lost below decks." The table laughed. Elena smiled, the kind of smile that doesn't reach the eyes. "I'll manage, sir," she said, and took the empty seat beside the XO, Commander Sarah Kim, who at least offered a nod. By 0900 the sabotage began. Someone rerouted Elena's access card so every door flashed red. Someone swapped her briefing folder with one full of crayon doodles. Someone posted her personnel photo on the ship's internal meme channel with the caption, "Lost if found, returned to daycare." The crew thought it was hilarious. Elena thought it was sloppy. She spent the afternoon in the server room, fingers flying over a keyboard no one knew she could access, tracing the digital fingerprints back to a petty officer 3rd class named Ramirez in air traffic control. She left him a present, a single line of code that would lock his station the next time he tried to upload schematics. Then she went to the gym, changed into PT gear, and deadlifted 3 plates like it was nothing. Word spread faster than the memes. That night, the real move came. Maddox summoned her to the bridge. The Lincoln was running dark, simulating a stealth approach to a hostile coast. "Vasquez," he said, voice low, "we've got a drone down in the drink." The recovery team scrambled, but intel says the wreckage might be compromised. "You're the logistics expert. Tell me how we get it back without starting World War II." He was testing her. The drone wasn't compromised. It was bait. Maddox's own people had staged the crash to flush out the mole, and they wanted to see if the new girl panicked. Elena studied the radar plot, the wind vectors, the recovery helo's fuel state. Send the helo to grid 3412, skim the surface at 10 feet, use the infrared pod to spoof any subs. If the wreckage is rigged, the blast radius won't reach the bird. And Captain. She met his eyes. "Tell your recovery swimmer to check for fishing line. Someone wants us to reel in more than scrap metal." Maddox's jaw tightened. He hadn't told anyone about the line. The helo launched. The swimmer found the drone, and the monofilament tripwire linked to a limpet mine. The blast never came. Elena had already remotely fried the mine's detonator from the server room. The drone was recovered intact. The schematics were gone, and Maddox started watching her differently. 2 days later, the games escalated. A simulated missile strike took out the Lincoln CI-2S, leaving the carrier blind. The enemy Red Force was closing fast. In the CIC chaos reigned. Maddox barked orders. The weapons officer fumbled the countermeasure sequence. Elena stood quietly at the back, arms folded, until the tactical action officer noticed her. "You got something to say, civilian?" he snapped. She stepped forward, voice calm. "Permission to interface with Aegis." Maddox almost laughed. "You touch my system?" But the Red Force was 90 seconds from launch. He nodded. Elena's fingers danced across the console. She didn't override, she harmonized. She rerouted power from non-essentials, spun up the backup radar, and fed the Red Force a ghost signature that looked like the entire carrier group jumping to hyperspace. The enemy missiles chased shadows. The Lincoln vanished into the noise. The bridge went silent. Then the Teo whispered, "Holy shit." Maddox cornered her in the passageway afterward. "Who the hell are you?" he demanded. Elena adjusted her glasses. "Plain glass, no prescription." "Just a logistics specialist, sir." He didn't buy it. Neither did the crew. The memes stopped. The pranks turned nervous. Someone started calling her the Ghost. Ramirez, the petty officer, vanished from his duty station. His rack was empty, his locker cleared out. Rumor said he'd jumped ship in a rubber raft. Elena knew better. She'd handed his hard drive to NC ICE before breakfast. The final twist came during the Admiral's inspection. The real Admiral, Vice Admiral Patricia O'Connor, was scheduled to arrive by helo at 1400. The Lincoln's crew scrambled to look perfect. Decks gleamed, uniforms starched. Maddox rehearsed his briefing like a nervous cadet. At 13:55, the helo touched down. The side boys piped. The bosun's mate called Admiral aboard, and out stepped Elena Vasquez, now in dress whites, 4 stars gleaming on her collar. The deck froze. Maddox's face went the color of printer paper. O'Connor followed behind her, grinning like a shark. "Captain Maddox," Elena said, voice carrying across the flight deck, "you are relieved." The words weren't loud, but they landed like artillery. The fallout was biblical. Maddox was escorted to his cabin under Marine Guard. The XO Sarah Kim took temporary command and spent the next 6 hours vomiting from stress. Elena, Admiral Vasquez, addressed the crew at quarters. "You tried to take down the new girl," she said, not knowing she was the base's admiral. Lesson 1. Never underestimate the quiet one. Lesson 2. The Navy doesn't run on ego. It runs on trust. You broke it. Now we fix it. She didn't yell. She didn't need to. The investigation uncovered a network, Maddox skimming millions through fake maintenance contracts, Ramirez feeding drone specs to a shell company in Macau, 3 department heads covering for each other with staged accidents. The Lincoln's reputation was in tatters. Elena's orders were simple: rebuild or be broken up. She started with the gym. Anyone who could deadlift body weight 3 times got to stay on her staff. Half the officers failed. The enlisted loved it. 6 months later, the Lincoln steamed into Pearl Harbor for the rim of the Pacific exercise. The crew wore new patches, a Ghost with 4 stars. Elena stood on the bridge, wind whipping her hair loose from its bun for the first time in public. Maddox was in pretrial confinement. Ramirez had turned state's evidence and was singing in a federal courthouse. The schematics were recovered, the contractor shut down, the fleet's honor restored, and every sailor on deck knew the story. They'd tried to take down the new girl. She'd taken down the house. If you love your mom and dad, hit that subscribe button and show some love to her. Drop a comment. Where in the country are you watching from? Let's see if the Navy's reach stretches from Anchorage to Key West.